Hey wrestling fans, Brian Crazy F and True Wrestling here. Back with some very exciting news at the TNA Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida. TNA has just finished taping this week's Impact for January 13th, 2010. This will be the first Impact after the Genesis pay-per-view, the first to feature Ken Anderson as World Heavyweight Champion. We all know that Ken Anderson won the World Heavyweight title, kind of a surprise bout against Jeff Hardy last night at Genesis. So we'll move right into Impact for this week. First things first, we had Beer Money go against the Motor City Machine Guns. Beer Money did pick up a win. This is the second one in a row, and I believe for Robert Roode this makes the fourth in a row. I know he won both his singles matches, and he picked up the victory at Genesis with his tag team partner, and he picked up the victory at Impact with his tag team partner. So hats off to them guys, because they are on a roll right now. Next we have Mr. Anderson come out to the ring. He cuts a promo about becoming World Heavyweight Champion. He says he started off in TNA. He debuted at Genesis of 2010. 1 year later, he is now World Heavyweight Champion. Matt Morgan comes out, talks about the match that they had. That kind of rolls into Matt Morgan talking about that 2011 is going to be his year, and he is going to capture the World Heavyweight Championship. So, I thought Matt Morgan came close on so many times, and that would set up an excellent match. If they dropped the belt to Morgan to drop it to Anderson, if they're looking for Anderson for the longevity as champion. Eric Bischoff then comes out, and he starts to cut a promo about calling Mr. Anderson a fraud, this, that, and the other. Hey, the guy might be an asshole, but he's not a fraud. Moving on, he says that this is Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Eric Bischoff, Immortal Fortunes, TNA, no one else's, and that he will be facing Jeff Hardy at Against All Odds in a rematch for the World Heavyweight Championship. Any of you that don't know, Jeff Hardy is going to be avoiding jail time. He is not going to have to serve any time for his multiple drug offenses. Best out to him. Hopefully everything pans out for him in his favor. The pro wrestling world, most of you guys that don't know behind the scenes, it is not a very glamorous lifestyle. These guys go through a lot of stuff to do what they do every day. So moving on, Rob Van Dam came down, attacks Hardy. Anderson runs to the back, and Fortune attacks Anderson and RVD. So, another gang style attack. I mean, we're seeing this on WWE, now we're seeing it more and more on TNA. It's all reminiscent of the NWO angles in the mid-90s. If you guys don't know, watch your tapes. So then we got Pope coming out and talking about Samoa Joe, and talking about how he's got footage of Samoa Joe and his wife. Then he shows footage of two pigs having sex, and Joe comes out, the Pope flees. Joe calls the Pope a bitch, a fraud and a phony, and he promises to kill Pope at some point. Now, Joe made some really good points. Now, Pope had explanations for all these. Now, how is this gonna pan out? I mean, who's really the fraud and who's not? Joe's always been the quiet, silent side, but he's never known to be, I can't say he's never been known not to be crazy, but in that regard, but who knows, maybe the quiet guy has got, a secret he's hiding. Or, what's going on with the Pope? Did he take too many bumps? Or has he just got his own agenda now? I mean, only time will tell. So then we got Jeff Jarrett come out with his MMA team. He talks about last night's fight, and then has the newly Karen Jarrett come out, who, if you guys don't know, is Karen Angle, Kurt Angle's former wife. He talks about his MMA days are over. Kurt comes out, Jarrett runs away. I guess that's the end of the Double J Double MMA challenge. I will have a review of my live experience in Wallingford, Connecticut that I went to. So I want you guys to check that out. I got to see a Double J Double MMA challenge between Tommy Dreamer and Jeff Jarrett, where Jeff Jarrett actually threw him off a staircase and cracked him with the ring bell, so that was pretty freaking awesome. Then we move into some women's knockout action. We've got Angelina Love and Winter, who are the new TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions. You know, right now they're kind of going different ways with this division. They've kept it going throughout 2010, which I give them their hats off to. I mean, they did kind of drop the ball on several titles earlier in the year, but I really think they've kind of brought back some prestige to, especially the newly christened TV Championship, which was formerly known as the Global and Legends title. I mean, the things had more names than, you know, to be honest, I can't remember the guy who said this quote, but he said it had more names than P. Diddy, so I thought that was pretty funny. But, so Angelina Love and Winter went against Madison Rayne and Tara. Madison tried to use that loaded glove like she did at Genesis to beat Mickey, but Mickey came down, stopped her, and chased her to the back, so I assume that went to a no contest. If I get any additional information on that before the show airs, I will add an annotation to this video. Then we have Anderson come back out. These are tapings, so sometimes when they get angles that they don't particularly like, they do reshoot portions of them to look more polished on their final television product. Anderson comes back and reshoots his promo from earlier. This time he's actually in his ring gear. Before he was in his street clothes. So whatever version, I guess, looks better, comes off better, I'm not sure. Or is the first one a rehearsal just for the fans? If we see the one with his ring gear, obviously the second one is the one they run with, and the first one was just a dry rehearsal. And he basically talked to the fans about WWE not letting him be himself, as we've seen incredible characters emerge from Ken Anderson. You know, I got one of his shirts on right now, just threw it on before I did the vid, and you know, he's a great competitor. Definitely it's his time. He became very close in WWE. He was Mr. Money in the Bank before Edge ended up winning that from him, and that actually led to Edge's World Heavyweight title reign. They started the Royal Rumble. I know it was early in the year, I believe. I might be mistaken. So if you guys know, correct me in the comment box below. But then we move into Matt Morgan versus Abyss in a non-title match for, well, it's not title, but if it was for the title, it would have been for the television championship. I'm a little tired here, but I just got this info, so I thought I'd bring it to you. Matt Morgan did pick up the win. Flair tried getting involved, but Morgan stopped him. After the match, Flair, Terry, Abyss beat down Morgan. Then we moved into a very exciting match. We got to see the brothers reunite. Matt and Jeff Hardy defeated Rob Van Dam and Mr. Anderson, which leaves Matt Hardy undefeated in TNA. He is now 2-0. He did beat Rob Van Dam at Genesis. For you guys that did not check out the review video of that, check it out. It's up on our YouTube also. Beer Money came down, interfered and helped the Hardys. After the match, Fortune and Mortal beat down RVD and Anderson, and Bischoff kind of watched from the ramp. So I think Bischoff's starting to feel more and more threatened. I think, you know, they did very well at Genesis. They now control 3 of the 4 titles, but they did lose the World Heavyweight Championship. But, I mean, that was more out of a thing of, excuse me, guys. That was more of a thing of necessity than anything else. But that's pretty much what happened on Impact for this week, guys. Thanks for checking out this vid. I will be back with some comments about Monday Night Raw. And I also got an update on AJ Styles, so check that out. And also, big shout out to Antoine Dillard for providing the intro